So great day class. So ito naman yung part 2 nung allowable deductions. Okay, yung discussion natin dito. Okay? So let me share to you my screen again. Okay. So again, our objective is for you to be able to identify allowable deductions for both individual and corporate taxpayers. You must be able to identify the differences between the itemized deduction and optional standard deductions, which we have studied earlier, yung optional standard deductions, and identify deductible expenses and identify expenses that are fully and partly deductible. So just to have a recap, deductions pertain to items or amounts which the law allows to be deducted from gross income in order to arrive at the taxable income. And for the computation, here it is, income from all sources. You have to indicate that in your return. But for you to be able to see kung magkano yung gross income mo, you have to less deduct or yung mga exclusions, di ba, provided by law, which we have studied in chapter 2. Then, upon arriving at the gross income, i-less mo na yung mga deductions allowed by law, itong mga allowable deductions, may it be an optional standard deduction or itemized deductions. Also, you can also deduct yung mga exemptions. Okay? Then, after deducting that, you'll be able to arrive at your taxable income. Magkano ba yung taxable income mo? I-multiply mo yon sa tax rate, then mag-a-arrive ka sa tax due. Magkano yung dapat mo bayaran. And if may tax credit ka from your previous payment of tax, you can deduct that for you to be able to arrive in your final tax due and payable. Okay, so the kinds of allowable deductions, we have optional standard deduction and the itemized deduction. So we have studied earlier ano yung optional standard deduction. So kapag wala kang mga resibo, di ba, enough receipts to substantiate yung proof ng mga business expenses mo, then you must go and avail the optional standard deduction. But it should not, the rate should not exceed 40%, okay, of your total gross income. Whereas itemized deduction dito, iisa-isahin mo. Mabusisi, kumbaga. And we have a mnemonics here. BIT Load D, Load 3 Corp. So, there you go. So we have business expense, interest expense, taxes, losses, bad debts, depreciation, depletion, charitable and other contributions, research and development, pension trust, contribution. So iisa-isahin natin yan ngayong lesson na to in this video. So let's go first with the business expense. So, 'di ba kapag may business ka, whether you are an individual taxpayer or you are a managing partner or a incorporator, a CEO in a corporation, you are incurring business expenses. Okay? Now, and you may deduct it from your gross income in order for you to arrive at your taxable income. So ano-ano ba yung mga kinds of business expense? We have compensation for personal service actually rendered, di ba? So yung mga pinapasweldo mo sa mga tao mo na nagtatrabaho sa iyo, you may deduct that as business expense from your taxable income. Second are the travel expenses in the pursuit of your travel of trade, business, or profession. So yung kunwari may mga seminar, di ba, or may mga business meetings, di ba? You may deduct yung mga travel expenses mo from your gross income. It includes transportation expenses, mga meals and lodging paid and incurred while the taxpayer is away from home. The third kind of business expense is a representation and entertainment expenses. So the expense, the representation and entertainment expense must be directly connected to the development, management, and operation of the trade, business, or profession. So, i-add na natin din yung advertising and promotional expense. So, for example, di ba, bagong company ka pa lang and you want to promote your product, 'Di ba? That is why nagpa-commercial ka, 'di ba? Gumawa ka ng commercial, pinapalabas sa TV ads, sa mga sa mga malalaking ads dyan sa mga highways, 'di ba? So, yung mga expenses na nun must be reasonable and must be directly connected with the trader business ng ng company mo or ng ginagawa mong business, deductible siya. Pwede siyang deduct from the gross income. Number 5, we have rent expense. So ano naman yung mga rent expense? So continued use or possession of property for purposes of trade, business, or profession as a lessee user or possessor. So for example, ikaw company owner ka ng milk tea, di ba? Kaya naghanap ka ng pwesto mo. So nagbabayad ka ng renta na. So reasonable amount thereof may be deducted as business expense. Okay? From your gross income. Number 6, cost of material and supplies. So, yung mga pagpapagawa, yung mga materials na kinakailangan mo, deductible only to the amount actually consumed or used in the operation. So, kaya merong mga inventories, di ba? Kasi mahalaga yan for you to be able to arrive at the deductible business expense. And lastly, we have repairs. Yung mga incidental tsaka ordinary repairs lang, they are deductible naman. While extraordinary repairs, they are not deductible. So for example, major renovations like that. So they're not deductible. Okay, so what are the requisites for you to be able to deduct yung mga business expense mo? So I have a mnemonics here. Not sure, not sure during, on, in. Not sure during, on. So we have 6 kasi. So first, the expense must not be against public policy, public moral, or law. Okay? So yung expense mo na pinakita natin kanina, dapat hindi siya against public policy, public moral, saka public law, yung mga entertainment expense, di ba? So, second is the expense must be substantiated by proof. Diba? If business expense is subject to withholding tax, proof of payment to BAR must be shown. So, dapat laging may resibo. Pangatlo, the expenses must be reasonable. So, hindi siya pwede dapat yung napakalaki ng mga expenses mo na halos wala ka ng babayarang tax, di ba? So, it must be reasonable lang. And paid or incurred during the taxable year. So, dapat, yun nga, 2007 mo siya na bayaran, tapos na incurred, dapat the same year, di ba? Madeduct mo siya. The expense must be ordinary and necessary. This is the most important, diba? Dapat it is directly attributable, to development, management, operation, and conduct of your trade or business, or in the exercise of the profession. So hindi lang siya basta-basta dapat um, expense, but it must be ordinary and necessary. And kailangan lang talaga siya for your business and profession. So the expenses must be incurred in trade or business carried on by the taxpayer. So if, for example, milk tea yung business mo, pero ang expenses mo, mga, ano pa mga example? Yung mga salt soda, something like that, di ba? In-include mo na doon. Yung mga not related to your business, in-include mo na as your expense, business expense. So, in that case, hindi yata makatarungan yon as business expense. So, pwede siyang ma-disallow ni BIR. Now, I have an example here. This is a familiar example. I've stated this example in chapter 2. So si Noel Santos is a very bright computer science graduate. He was hired by HP to entice him to accept the offer for employment. He was offered the arrangement that part of his compensation, his compensation would be an insurance policy with a face value of 20 million pesos. The parents of Noel are made the beneficiaries of the insurance policy. So the question is, can the company deduct from its gross income the amount of the premium paid? And briefly explain. So here, si Noel, hinar siya ni HP, and para tanggapin niya yung contract of employment, binigyan siya ng, as part of his compensation, ng insurance policy ng 20 million with a 20 million peso face value. And ang beneficiary nun is yung parents na Noel. The question here is that are the premiums paid by the company deductible from the gross income of the company? And the answer is yes. The premiums paid are ordinary and necessary business expense of the company. They are allowed as a deduction from gross income so long as the employer is not a direct or indirect beneficiary under the policy of insurance. So here, ang beneficiary, hindi si company. Di ba? Pag namatay si Noel, hindi si company, but the parents of the employees. Thus, it is considered as deductible expense. Now, let's proceed to I. So we've finished B. Let's proceed to I, interest expense. So interest expense refers to amount which one has contracted to pay for the use of borrowed money. So, di ba pag nangungutang ka, diba, usually yan may interest, kumikita ng interest yan. So kapag so I have here examples, interest on loans, but for the ordinary expense of taxpayers' business, interest on delinquent tax liability. So pag binayaran mo na siya, so pwede mo siyang i-claim as interest expense, deductible siya gross income mo. So here's the requisites. There must be an indebtedness. Dapat may pagkakautang. So it embraces not only contractual debt, okay, but also interest accruing as a result of delinquency for payment of the tax. Okay, so interest number 2, interest must have been stipulated in writing in consonance with Article 1956 of the New Civil Code, which provides that no interest shall be due unless it has been expressly stipulated. Sa mga kontrata nyo ng pagpapautang, diba, dapat nakalagay, magkano ba yung interest na babayaran mo? Magkano ba yung kinikitang interest na itong utang na to? Okay? And that indebtedness must be incurred in connection with taxpayers, trade, or business. And it must be number 4, paid or accrued within the taxable year. So, dapat biniharan mo yung interest na yon or yung loan na yon within the taxable year. Kapag ang kina-follow mo na method is on a cash basis, so deductible siya at the year that it is actually paid. While if you're following the accrual basis, so ito yung mga accounting methods yan eh, diba? So it's deductible in the year, it is accrued even if not actually paid. So kahit di mo pa siya nabayaran, pwede mo siyang i-claim, diba? As long as it's accrued, diba? If you are following the accrual basis of taxation. Yes, of accounting. Now, let's proceed to taxes. So deductible din daw yung mga taxes. So what are the requisites, diba? We have PPI, ang mnemonics ko niyan. Okay? Payments must be for taxes. So yung payments na binayad mo must be for taxes, and the taxes must be imposed by law and payable by the taxpayer himself. So thus, yung mga indirect tax like the value-added tax, yung VAT, they're not deductible from gross income of the buyers. Okay? Third one is it must be paid or incurred during taxable year in connection with taxpayers' trade or business. And finally, taxes must not be specifically excluded by law from being deducted from taxpayers' gross income. So may mga certain taxes lang na deductible. Diba? Under Section 4A of Republic Act number 9257, 20% discount granted to senior citizen, diba? Pa yung mga senior citizen discount shall be allowed as tax deduction from gross income for the same taxable year that the discount is granted. So tama nga naman, di ba? So for example, nag-grant ng senior citizen discount si company A. So yung amount ng discount niya, pwede niya i-claim yun as deductible, as deduction from its gross income kapag magpa-file na siya ng kanyang tax return at magbabayad na siya ng tax. Okay? So the general rule, all taxes, whether national or local, paid or accrued, within the taxable year in connection with taxpayers, trade, or business shall be allowed as deduction from gross income. That's the rule. Dapat lahat. Okay? So for example, privilege and license tax, documentary stamp tax, excise tax, automobile registration fees, real property taxes, occupation taxes, business taxes, and import duties. However, hindi pwedeng i-deduct yung mga sumusunod. Itong mga kinds of taxes na to. Number one, Philippine income tax. So itong inaaral natin, yung lahat ng income tax, compensation income, they are not deductible as yung compensation income tax, then the income tax and compensation income and other income tax are not deductible as from your gross income. Second is foreign income tax. Ito naman may alternative treatment to. So foreign income tax provided the taxpayers avails of the foreign tax credit. If not availed, may be claimed as deduction from gross income of citizen domestic corporation. So yung mga foreign income tax like si Manny Pacquiao, di ba? Nag-earn siya ng income doon. So inimposean siya ng foreign income tax. So Manny Pacquiao may opt to deduct or claim that as a tax credit para sa kanyang gross income. Well, if hindi niya naman in-avail yung tax credit, pwede niya i-avail as deduction yon from his gross income. Then third, we have estate and donors tax. So kapag may mga nagkakapasahan ng properties, 'di ba, by donation or kapag may namatay, 'di ba? So may tax 'yon. Number 4, a special assessment and taxes assessed against local benefits of a kind that tends to increase the value of the property assessed. So yung mga special assessment, okay? And electric energy consumption tax, final taxes being in the nature of income tax, value-added tax, taxes on sale, barter, or exchange of shares of stock listed and traded through local stock exchange, and taxes paid for commodity not connected with trade or business. So mga to, basically, kapag hindi siya connected with trade or business ng company mo, hindi siya deductible. So like, and kapag nag-fall na siya sa income tax, kapag VAT yan, hindi yan deductible sa gross income mo. Okay? So, ayan lang yung mga deductible. Nandyan. Now, ano ba yung tax credit, sir? Kanina mo pa sinasabi yan eh. So, tax credit refers to the amount subtracted from an individual or entity's tax liability to arrive at the total tax liability, which was paid or accrued to a foreign country. So, ayun nga yun. Diba? So, since nagbayad ka sa foreign country, pwede mo siya i-claim as tax credit dito sa taxable liability, sa liability mo for tax dito sa Pilipinas. So, the purpose is to lessen the harshness of taxation in cases where an income is subject to both foreign tax and Philippine income tax. Baka na nangyayari yan, di ba kapag domestic or kapag resident citizen ka, you are taxable from all your sources within and without. Naalala niyo yun? So kahit sa foreign mo siya na-earn, foreign country mo siya na-earn, taxable pa rin siya dito sa Pilipinas kapag nandito ka sa Pilipinas. Okay? The taxpayer has the option either to claim foreign income tax as deduction from gross income or i-deduct mo siya as tax credit. Okay? If claim as tax credit, syempre hindi na siya pwedeng deductible from your gross income. So ano ba yung ano ba yung difference between tax credit and tax deduction? Tax credit reduces the Philippine income tax liability. Kapag tax deduction naman, it reduces taxable income upon which tax liability is calculated from. So, sa palagay niyo, ano mas maganda? Feeling ko mas maganda kapag tax credit yung pinili mo. No? Kasi kapag cleaning mo lang siya as deduction, from your tax liability lang siya. Sinasama lang siya sa computation ng taxable liability mo. Okay? Ng taxable income, ng taxable income mo. Pero kapag tax credit, automatic dine-deduct dun sa taxable liability mo. Dun sa formula na pinakita ko kanina, di ba? Naalala niyo yun? Automatic siya dun din-deduct. Next, tax credit is subtracted from the amount of the net income tax to be paid. So magkano yung net income tax mo? Diba? Pwede mo siyang deduct, sabi ko nga kanina. And tax deductions subtracted from the gross income. So ang tax credit, dinideduct sa net income tax. Ang tax deduction naman, dinideduct sa gross income. Okay? So, sino-sino bang pwede mag-claim ng tax credit? So, we have resident citizens, resident aliens under the principle of reciprocity. So, meaning to say ng principle of reciprocity, yung country mo at yung country kung saan ka nag-earn income, meron silang treaty or subject sila sa international committee, di ba? Whereas they are giving exemptions or privileges to their nationality at nag-a-apply yung privileges na yun dito sa country like Philippines, di ba? And vice versa. So kung ang Pilipino naman nandun sa ibang bansa, so same taxable treatment, di ba? Ang gagawin nila doon. And domestic corporations including partnership except general professional partnerships, we have members of general professional partnerships and beneficiaries of estates and trusts. Okay? So sila yung mga entitled to tax credit. Sino naman yung mga hindi entitled sa tax credit? Non-resident citizens, resident aliens if without reciprocity, non-resident aliens, and foreign corporations whether residents or not. So bakit hindi sila entitled sa tax credit, sir? Because these taxpayers are subject to Philippine income tax only on an income derived from sources within the Philippines. So tingnan nyo, sino ba yung mga taxpayers na tax sila from sources within and without? They can claim tax credit. Pero kapag within lang, so they cannot claim tax credit because wala silang foreign tax na mata-tax credit from. Okay, so let's proceed now to losses. So it's the fourth item in our itemized deduction. So it refers to losses actually sustained during the taxable year and not compensated for by insurance or other forms of indemnity shall be allowed as deduction from gross income. So there will be times in the business or in the exercise of your profession where you will really incur losses. So that's inevitable, di ba? And the treatment of these losses depends upon the class of the taxpayers, whether the individual ba siya, corporate taxpayer ba to, and the nature of losses. So we will discuss here. So what are the requisites of deductibility of losses? So the loss must be that of the taxpayer directly, actually sustained and charged off during the taxable year and evidenced by a closed and completed transaction. It's not claimed as a deduction for estate tax purposes and not compensated by insurance or other form of indemnity. Kasi some of the insurance, some of the losses may be um, indemnified through insurance kasi naka-insured, di ba? So for example, yung property mo, yung building nasunog, di ba? Pero since binayaran na siya ng insurance company, since naka-insured siya, hindi mo na siya pwedeng i-claim as deduction from your gross income. Okay? So for individuals, the loss must be connected with trade, business, or exercise of profession or incurred in any transaction entered into for profit, though not connected with his trade or business. And for casualty losses, declaration of loss must be filed with the BAR via a sworn declaration of loss within 45 days of the date of occurrence or discovery. Ano ba yung mga casualty loss? Yung mga fire, um, earthquake, di ba? Nagkaroon ng fire, ng earthquake, tapos mga robbery, something like that, deductible yon. Okay? So we have classification of losses. Ordinary losses, capital losses, special losses, and non-deductible losses. So hindi lahat ibig sabihin ng loss are deductible. So mayroon mga non-deductible losses. But let's go first to the ordinary losses. So they are deductible if incurred in a trade or business or practice of profession and property connected with trade if the loss arises from fire, storms, robbery, theft. So may mga casualty losses. Now, let's go to capital losses, so number 2. Capital losses deductible only to the extent of capital gain. So losses from sale or exchange of capital assets, losses resulting from securities becoming worthless and which are capital assets, losses from short sale of property. Short sales refer to any sales of a security which the seller does not own or any sale which is consummated by the delivery of a security borrowed by or for the account of the seller, and losses due to failure of exercise privilege or option to buy or sell property. So Ano ano ba 'to? Um, may mga tinatawag tayong capital gains. Okay? So, kung yung kanina is ordinary losses, yung capital losses naman, so kapag ang nag-loss or nag-depreciate ng value ng property mo, 'di ba? Or kunwari may mga exchange of or sale ng capital asset, deductible lang siya only to the extent of capital gains. So, we will not focus here so much, but um, and I will not give this as for your examination. Okay? Itong capital losses. Then we also have special losses na tawag. So wagering losses, deductible only to the extent of gain or winning. So you have to report the gain in order to obtain a deduction for the wagering losses. So yung mga sugal, di ba? Mga talo sa sugal, pwede pala siyang i-deduct. Losses from, but may mga sugal somehow na legal at somehow illegal. But losses from illegal transactions are not deductible and they cannot be offset against gains from legal transactions. So kapag yung losses mo comes from an illegal transaction, illegal wagering loss, they're not deductible. So for example, ang gambling winning mo, panalo mo is 1,000 pesos. Pero ang talo ka ulit ng 500 pesos. Ang deductible loss mo lang is 500 pesos. And second illustration, 500 winning yung gambling winning mo, then ang talo mo 1,000 pesos. Of course, deductible lang loss mo. Ang deductible loss mo is only 500 pesos because sabi dito, yung deduction mo is to the extent of your um, gain. Okay? To the extent of gain or winning. So since 500 lang yung winning na na-consider mo, kahit 1,000 yung loss mo, 500 lang yung deductible loss mo. Paano kapag wala ka talaga ng talo? Puro, kung wala kang panalo, puro talo. Diba? Then, wala kang deductible loss. Hindi mo pwedeng deduct. Okay, we also have other special losses like losses on wash shields. So, I'll not discuss this further. Ayan. Abandonment losses in petroleum operation, abandonment losses in producing well. So, itong mga kinds of losses na to, you may refer, di ba, to the law para tingnan mo, ano ba and syempre, dinidetermine niya ni BIR kung talagang deductible siya or not. Okay? So, here, sabi ko sa inyo earlier, not all losses are deductible. So, ang mga deductible losses lang ay yung mga ordinary losses na incurred in trader business, casualty losses, diba, due to fire, robbery, capital losses, losses from short sale, losses due to failure to exercise privilege or option to buy, sell property, and abandonment losses. Ito naman yung mga non-deductible losses. Losses in dealing between related taxpayers. So, for example, makipag-deal ka with your mother, di ba? Or with your son or daughter, di ba? Yung mga losses in dealings with that, they're not deductible. Okay, under the law. Losses on wash sales of stock and security, capital loss not covered by capital gains, gambling losses not covered by gambling gains. These are non-deductible losses. Losses from exchange of property and corporate readjustments, losses from illegal transactions, and losses not incurred in trade or business or any transaction entered into for profit. Sorry. But ito yung pinakamahalagang loss na gusto ko yung matutunan at aralin, yung net operating loss carryover. So, ang rule kanina, 'di ba? So kapag hindi mo siya nagamit within the year na incurred mo yung loss or yung expense mo, or yung deductible expense mo, hindi mo na siya magagamit. Dito sa net NOLCO, kaiba siya. Ano ba yung net operating loss or net operation loss? Net operating loss, refers to the excess of allowable deduction over gross income of the business for any taxable year. So nag-over na, 'di ba? Ito yung gross income mo, let's say 100,000, pero ang deductible expense mo, allowable deductions mo for the year 2007 is 200,000 pesos. Sumobra. So under the law, you're allowed to deduct that or considered as a net operating loss carryover. Yun yung LOL ko. So net operating loss of the taxpayer shall be carried over as a deduction from gross income for the next 3 consecutive taxable years immediately following the year of such law. So this usually para i-aid niya, tulungan niya yung company na mag-regain kasi ibig sabihin nun kapag mas malaki na yung expenses mo kaysa sa mga kinikita mo, ba hindi na nagiging liquid yung cash mo, yung capital mo. Ibig sabihin nalulugi ka na. So tinutulungan, ito yung way ng batas natin on taxation para tulungan, 'di ba? Mai-allow na mai-deduct pa rin yung mga sobrang expenses. And pwede mo siyang i-deduct for the next 3 consecutive taxable years lang. So yun yung limitations niya. So this means that the net operating losses incurred in prior years may be allowed as deduction from the current year's gross income, thus reducing or even wiping out the taxpayer's income tax liability for the current year, depending on the amount of expenses to be deducted. So for the net operating loss, so meron akong ditong under the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act. So nilabas to ng BIR recently. Sabi niya for the net operating loss for year 2020 and 2021 kasi they are already assuming na maraming naluging companies. So that taxpayer is allowed to carry over the same as a deduction from its gross income here for the next 5 taxable years. So in-extend nila. So instead of 3 consecutive years, 5 na. Pero dapat na-incur mo yung loss na yon o yung yung mga nasobrahan yung expenses mo for the year 2020 and 2021. So special to. Okay? So probably 2020 kung 2020 mo siya na incur yung sumobrang deductions mo over your income. So 21, 22, 24 up to 2025 pwede mo siyang i-carry over. So paano ba yan? Pakita mo sir paano nangyayari yan. But let's have an exercise first. So it refers to the excess of allowable deductions over gross income of the business in a taxable year is known as, is it letter A, net operating loss, ordinary loss, net deductible loss, or NOLCO? The correct answer here is net operating loss. So, ito na yan. So, yung example natin. So, if dito man tayo, tingin tayo sa 2015. Diba? Ang gross business income mo ng company is 350,000 pesos. Pero ang allowable deduction niya is 550,000. Diba? Nalugi. Assuming lahat yun tama. Diba? 550,000. So meron siyang loss, income loss, or loss from business na 200,000 pesos. So zero yung taxable income niya. Hindi siya makakabayad. Pero dapat mag-file siya ng return, di ba? Now, yung 200,000 niya, pwede niya spread over yan for the next 3 years. Yun yung rule, di ba? 2016, 2017, and 2018. Okay? So, for the year 2016, ang income na ni company, let's say siguro company A, naging 300,000 pesos na. At ang allowable deduction niya that time is 220,000. So mayroon pa siyang natitirang income na 80,000 pesos. Now, syempre, meron ka pang carry over from year 2015 na 200,000 and effective pa siya hanggang 2018, i-deduct mo. So, magkakaroon ka ng zero taxable income. Okay? Now, for 2017 naman, ang income mo naman ni company A is 380,000 and ang deduction niya is 310,000 pesos. So, meron siyang 70,000 na income on 2017. And syempre, 80,000, 200,000 less 80,000 na in-apply mo na for the year 2016, meron ka pang 120,000. Di ba? So, i-deduct mo yung 70,000 pa, pasok-pasok bang para magkaroon ka ng zero taxable income. Okay? So, magkano pa natitira? 120 less 70. So, mahina ako sa math eh. So, 50,000. Di ba? Tama, 50,000. In 2018 naman, so si company A, 400,000 naman yung kanyang gross income. At ang deduction niya is 380,000. So meron siyang income from business of 20,000 pesos. So magkano pa yung natitira kanina? 50,000 dun sa NOLCO. And ito na yung last year, di ba? Pero since 20,000 lang yung income niya from business, 20,000 lang yung pwede mo deduct, zero. So comes now 2019, 350,000 yung income ni company A and ang deduction niya is 250,000. And ang syempre, 350 less 250,000 is 100,000 pesos. Pwede mo pa ba ina-apply yung i-carry over yung loss mo? Hindi na kasi sabi ng batas for the next 3 years lang. So if 2015 ka, 2016, 2017, 2018 mo lang. Hanggang 2018 mo lang siya pwedeng i-apply. So, ang taxable income company A for the year 2019 is 100,000 pesos. So, gets nyo yun, guys? So, if hindi, ulitin nyo lang yung video na to. Di ba? Pwede namang may repeat button di sa option dito sa video sa YouTube. So, here's the taxpayers, the list of taxpayers not entitled to deduct NOLCO from their gross income. We have individuals engaged in trade or business or in the exercise of his profession. So, hindi pwede mag-deduct ang individual. So, corporations lang. Okay? And sa mga corporations, domestic corporations and resident foreign corporations subject to normal income tax. Kapag normal income tax, hindi mo siya pwedeng i-avail. Special corporate subject to, these are the entitled, sorry. So these are the taxpayers entitled. Pag individual ka, engaged in trader business or exercise profession, yes, pwede ka mag-NOLCO. Kapag pag corporations ka, like domestic corporation, resident foreign corporation, subject sa normal income tax, yes, pasok, pwede mo mag-NOLCO. Special corporations subject to preferential tax rate like private educational institutions, hospital, and regional operating headquarters, and estates and trusts. So sila lang yung pwede mag-avail ng net operating loss carryover. It applies to individual and corporate taxpayers. Sabi ko nga kanina earlier, diba, in the previous slide, it can be carried over in the next 3 consecutive taxable years. Taxpayer is not exempt from income tax, and no substantial change in ownership of business or enterprises in not less than 75% in nominal value of outstanding issued shares or paid up capital is held by or on behalf of same person, and mines other than oil and gas wells may carry over net operating losses as deduction in the next 5 years. So, ito special treatment sa mga mines other than oil and gas wells. Kapag mga minahan, pwede sila mag-deduct up to the next 5 years ng kanilang mga deductions. Okay? So, andun na lang, 3, 4, 5, 6 na lang. So, let's discuss itong tatlong D. First D is bad debts. Debts, ano yung bad debts? Hindi yan bad breath, di ba? Bad debts, it resulting from worthlessness or uncollectibility in whole or in part of amounts due to the taxpayers by others arising from money lent or from uncollectible amounts of income from goods sold or services rendered. So ito yung pagkakautang, di ba? Na hindi mo na makokolekta, uncollectible na, worthless na, di ba? Since wala na, di mo na mahabol yung nangungutang sa'yo. Diba? So, what are the requisites para ma-deduct mo siya from your gross income? It must be existing and valid and legally demandable indebtedness due to the taxpayer. It must be connected with taxpayer's trade, business, or practice of profession. It must not be sustained in a transacted entered into between related parties. Magkakamag-anak, di ba? Na within the first degree probably, or basta within the primary family lang naman siguro, and actually charge off in the books of account of taxpayer as of the end of taxable year of worthlessness. So the amount of money lent must be previously recorded in the books of the taxpayer as receivable and later consumed. So kapag may kapag nagbi-business ka, may mga books books of account. So dapat na isulat mo rin siya doon as receivable before on the year. Tapos comes the following year, wala na talaga, uncollectible na. Okay? Then, dapat sinarge off mo na. Delete mo na yun. Okay? Number 5, rule, actually ascertained to be worthless and uncollectible as of the end of taxable year. So an account is worthless when after taking reasonable steps, nag-investiga ka na, nag-file ka na ng kaso sa court, wala na talaga eh. Wala nang pera yung umutang sa'yo. To collect the debt, there's no likelihood of recovery at any time in the future. And last, must have been reported as receivables in the income tax returns, the current or prior years. So, yun nga, dapat nireport mo siya as receivable. Pero ngayon, di ba, wala na talaga. Pero there are instances naman guys na nakaka-recover yung umutang sa'yo. So let's say 2017 na declare mo na siya as uncollectible, bad debts na siya. Comes 2018 or 2019, tumama siya ng loto, nagkapera siya, nakabili siya ng mga property. So nagbayad siya ngayon sa'yo. Anong gagawin mo doon? So, under the tax benefit rule, the recovery of bad debts previously allowed as deduction in the preceding year shall be included as part of the taxpayer's gross income in the year of such recovery to the extent of income tax benefit or a taxpayer was benefited of said deduction. So, for example, X company has a business connected receivable. So, may receivable siya amounting to 100,000 pesos from Y, who was declared bankrupt by a competent court. So since wala nang pambayad si Y, dineclare na siya as bankrupt. So despite earnest effort to collect the same, Y was not able to pay, preempting X to write off the entire liability. So dineclare niya na as bad debts yun. So during the year of the write-off, the entire amount was claimed as a deduction for income tax purposes, reducing the taxable net income of X company to only 1 million pesos. 100,000, sorry. Tama, 1 million pesos. That yung taxable income niya after deducting yung bad debts na 100,000 pesos. So 3 years after, Y voluntarily paid his obligation previously written off to company. In the year of recovery, the entire amount, so 3 years after, say 2017, 2020, the entire amount constitute part of gross income of X company because it was able to get full tax benefit 3 years earlier. Diba, dineduct niya na yon from his gross income, yung 100,000 na yon na written off niya na sa kanyang books of accounts, dineduct niya na yon 2017 sa kanyang taxable liability. So tapos nagbayad ulit. I-declare mo na siya as income. Diba? In year 2020, at the time na nagbayad siya. Okay? So second D is the depreciation of property. So it refers to gradual diminution in the service or useful value of property used in trade, profession, or business, resulting from exhaustion, wear and tear, and normal obsolescence. So the theory behind this is that property gradually approaches a point where its usefulness is exhausted. So lahat naman talaga ng bagay, di ba? Due to wear and tear, na-exhaust na. So napapagod, nawawala, babawasan kanyang usefulness. So by using the property, a gradual sale is made of it, and depreciation charge is the measure of the cost which has been sold. So as an asset loses its value, the loss of the value is charged as an expense, which is allowed as a deduction from the gross income. So kapag yung property mo, yung value nun, nagde-depreciate niya. So property connected in trade, business, or exercise of profession, nagde-depreciate yung value nun. So pwede mong i-deduct yung value na depreciate amount na yun because it is as if as your expense, di ba? Para naman di ka nalulugi sa ibinenta mo, di ba? Uli in the next yung luma mong electric fan, yung luma mong computer. Syempre mas mababa mo na siya mabebenta. So in that case, the law is allowing you to deduct yung mga yung value na na-depreciate dun sa property na yun. And the requisites are the following. The allowance for depreciation must be reasonable. It must be for property arising out of its use in trade or business or out of its not being used temporarily during the year. The allowance must be charged off within the taxable year and statement on the allowance must be attached to the return. So, meron dapat naka-attach siya na statement of allowance. So, magkano na lang ba yung value ng property on this particular year? Magkano yung binaba niya? Okay? However, these are the properties not subject to depreciation allowance. Lands, inventories or stocks in trade, yung mga nagda-trade dyan, di ba? Personal effects on for clothing, except costumes used in theatrical business, automobiles, and other transportation used solely by taxpayer for pleasure. So hindi siya connected sa trader business. And buildings used solely by the taxpayer as his resident. So hindi siya pwede madadeduct as depreciation allowance. Okay, the last D. Ante na lang. 1, 2, 3. Apat na lang tayo. It is the removal, extraction, or exhaustion of natural resources as in mines, oils, and gas wells as a result of production or severance from such mines or wells. So ito naman, paano ba ma-differentiate yung depletion tsaka depreciation? So depreciation, as a depletion, itong topic natin ngayon, assets subject to depletion could not be replaced. So it refers to the natural resources, di ba? Like mines, oils, gas wells, di ba? Na minimina. Tapos kinukuha natin ng mga oil. So, syempre, sa pagkuha, patuloy na pag-consume natin ng mga minahan, nababawasan yung kanyang value. Diba? Whereas depreciation naman, it refers to this property na pwede naman mapalitan anytime. Whereas kapag depletion, hindi mo na mapapalitan. Diba? Okay? So who are entitled naman sa depletion allowance? So only those persons having economic interest in the property. Tandaan nyo yan, ha? So sino lang may economic interest? So the taxpayer must have a capital investment in the property and not mere economic advantage. So economic interest, masasabi mo may economic interest ka dun sa natural resource na yon kapag you have a capital investment on that property. Okay? Hindi lang yung basta-basta nakatira ka lang doon, ganon. So what's the theory of depletion allowance? So same as in case of depreciation. So depletion allowance enables taxpayer to recover that capital interest free of income tax. So magkano ba yung ininvest mo dyan sa property na yan, sa natural resources na yan, pagmimina na yan. So in that case, syempre as time goes by, nababawasan yung kanyang value, nagde-depreciate. So you are allowed to deduct depletion allowance. Okay, let's go to 8, charitable and other contributions. So ito naman yung mga, syempre, minsan ang company nagbibigay ng mga contributions sa mga charities, di ba? So sino namang entitled to deduct these kinds of contributions? We have the corporate taxpayers except non-resident foreign corporation, and for individual taxpayers naman except non-resident alien not engaged in trader business. So sila lang hindi pwede. So So, general rule, lahat ng taxpayers, individual, corporations, ba? Except lang yung mga non-resident foreign corporation, tsaka non-resident alien not engaged in trading business. So, ano ba yung mga requisites para ma-deduct mo tong mga charitable contributions mo? Number 1, a contribution or gift must be actually paid during the taxable year. So, kapag binayaran mo siya ng 2007, or kinontribute mo siya, dinonate mo siya sa isang charitable organizations, 2007, dapat that year, maklaim mo siya as deduction. Must be given to the organization specified by tax code or special law. The net income of institution must not inure yan to the benefit of any member or individual. So, dapat yung contributions mo, donations mo, dun sa organization, hindi sa individual tao lang, dun na sa organizations. Okay? And what must be stated in the tax return? So dapat ilalagay mo sa tax return if you claiming this as a deduction, yung name and address ng organization, anong date, at magkano yung amount. So kapag hindi naman in money yung binigay mo, magkano yung fair value ng property, and signed by the responsible officer of the corporation. So dapat duly acknowledged. Okay? So I have a question here. May the deduction of contribution be allowed even in the absence of supporting receipts? So assuming wala kang resibo, walang, 'di ba? Sabi ng yes, the attachment to the tax return of receipts for contribution is merely an administrative device for convenience and facility of BIR. In verifying that the income tax return and the return cannot be in verifying the income tax return and This requirement cannot deprive the taxpayer of his right to prove his contribution in accordance with rules of evidence. So, in that case, kahit wala kang resibo actually, as long as mapakita mo na these are your contributions, na-acknowledge siya, so pwede mo siyang i-claim as deduction. So ano ba yung mga kinds ng contributions? We have ordinary contributions, partial deductibility lang. Pero kapag special contributions, deductible in full siya. And contributions deductible in full under special laws. So ordinary contributions, so yun, partial deductibility siya, may mga limitations lang. Is subject to limitation as to the amount deductible from gross income. So for corporate taxpayer, except the non-resident foreign corporation, 5% lang of net income before charitable contribution. So hindi lahat, di ba? Kapag individual taxpayer, 10% lang. Okay? And the recipient of contributions must be the government of the Philippines or any of its agencies or political subdivisions exclusively for public purpose, accredited domestic corporations organized exclusively for scientific, educational, charitable, social welfare, youth and sports development, cultural, religious, and rehabilitation endeavors, and non-government organizations or the NGOs. So, pag ordinary contributions, tandaan, hindi lahat deductible. Okay? Pero pag special contributions, so the recipient must full deductibility siya, and the recipient must be the government, the political agencies, di ba? Okay? And foreign institutions and accredited non-government organizations. And for charitable and contributions deductible in full under special law. So ito, kapag nag-donate ka dito sa mga organizations na to, under the special laws, full deductibility siya. Lahat ng contributions mo, like the IBP, Integrated Bar of the Philippines, the Development Academy of the Philippines, or the DOP, National Museum, Library and Archives, yung sa library, di ba? And the museums, Cultural Center of the Philippines, or the CCP, and DOST and its agencies and the public or recognized non-profit, non-stock educational institutions, mga DOST, CHED. So I have an example here, guys. On December 6, 2001, LBN Corporation donated a piece of vacant land situated in Mandaluyong City to an accredited and duly registered non-stock corporation, non-stock non-profit educational institution to be used by the school in building a sports complex of students. So made the donor claim in full as deduction from its gross income for the taxable year 2001 the amount of donated land equivalent to its fair market value at the time of the donation? The answer is no. Diba? Donations and or contributions made to qualified donor institutions consisting of property other than money shall be based on the acquisition of the property, not the zonal value. So magkano ba yung acquisition ng property ngayon? So the donor is not entitled to claim as full deduction the fair market value of the lot donated. So for research and development expenditure, so may mga times, di ba, yung mga company, like yung mga nagde-develop ng mga products, ng mga plant process, di ba? So the rule here is the research and development expenditure, so mga expenses na must be incurred in a taxable year and may be treated as ordinary and necessary expenses and deducted during the taxable year. And finally, pension trust contribution. So applicable to employer on account of its contribution to private pension plan for the benefits of employees. So para siyang fringe benefit na tinayo, or yes, diba, on top of their salary. So the requisites or requirements for deductibility, the employer must have established a pension retirement plan for the payment of reasonable pension of its employees. Pension plan is reasonable and sound, funded by the employer. So mag-contribute siya ng cash, and amount contributed must no longer be subject to the control of the employer, and payment has not yet been allowed as deduction. So in that case, the employer can deduct that pension trust contribution as an expense. So kung may mga deductible, may mga hindi naman deductible na expenses. Okay? Kapag yung mga expenses mo as a taxpayer refers to personal living or family expenses, an amount paid for new building or permanent improvements, Diba? Or betterments made to increase the value of property or estate. So kapag masyado ka nagre-renovate, pinapaganda mo para mas mapataas yung value ng property, they're not included or they're not deductible. Bribes, kickbacks, and other similar payments. So yung mga under the table expense, under the table, diba, na hinihingi mo, hindi yan kasama as deductions from your, hindi mo siya pwede deduct from your gross income. Then losses from sales or exchange of property, special provisions regarding income and deductions of domestic or foreign insurance company, and losses from wash sales of stocks or securities. So I have here some problems. Siguro mga tatlo lang to. Okay? So si Mac Garcia, a contractor who won the bid for construction of public highway, so claims as expenses facilitation fees, which according to him is standard operating procedure in transactions with the government. Diba? So nangihingi siya ng additional money, diba? Pambigay daw sa mga employees ng government. Kasi SOP raw yon. Diba? Allowable ba yon as deduction from gross income? No, the correct answer is no. So the alleged facilitation fees, which he claimed as standard operating procedure in transactions with the government, comes in the form of bribes or kickback, which are not allowed as deduction from gross income. Itandaan nyo yan, ha? And another case discussion, we have X, the advertising manager of MacBurger Inc. So nagkaroon siya ng dinner with Y, kumain sila. And si Y ay owner ng isang chain of restaurant, di ba? And he convinced Y to carry MacBurger. So gusto niya magpasama, di ba? Since siguro sikat na to si Y, dami niya mga restaurants na eh. So after Y agreed, so both X and Y went their separate ways. Then X celebrate siya. He went to a single bar. He picked up a partner and consumed a bottle of beer. And umuwi na siya at 3 a.m. Then on his way, si X, na-sideswipe niya isang pedestrian. Nasagasaan niya na namatay as a result of the accident. Then X settled the case extrajudicially, out of court. Ibig sabihin extrajudicially. Binayaran niya na lang yung pamilya ng namatay ng 50,000 pesos. The money, however, came from the MacBurger Inc., the corporation. Now, the question here is, can MacBurger Inc., the company MacBurger, claim the 50,000 pesos as an ordinary and necessary expense? What do you think? Well, the correct answer is no. As the expenditure had not been incurred in carrying on his trade or business, the same cannot be considered as an ordinary and necessary expenses. Such expense is a personal expense which is not deductible from gross income. So, yung binayad niya, hindi siya deductible kasi personal lang yun eh. Hindi siya related dun sa business ni MacBurger. Kasi, you know guys, ang corporations, may separate entity yan from separate life from those who are who owns it or incorporating it. Okay, so I think that's it, guys, and thank you for listening to this video. I hope marami ka natutunan. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. It's okay. You just study it, continue to watch it, paulit-ulit para mas maintindihan nyo siya. Well, mahirap naman talaga yung subject, but as long as willing ka namang matuto, kaya mo siyang maipasa. Okay? So God bless guys and thank you.